Alright, this is your test review worksheet. This is homework on Thursday night, and your test is tomorrow, Friday, August 30th. If you have any questions while you're going over this or need some clarification, please send me an email before Friday. Now I'm going to go step by step through each of these problems so that you have a better understanding. Alright, number 1 asks you to find the value of 3 to the 4th power. Well, we know that 3 is our base and 4 is our exponent. In the exponent tells me how many times to multiply my base by. So I'm multiplying, I'm multiplying my base, which is 3, and I'm multiplying that 4 times. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Since you won't be able to use a calculator on this test, you need to be able to evaluate that. So we start off at 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. And that is your answer for number 1. Number 2 is a tricky one. You need to remember this. Any base to the 0 power will always be 1. Okay? So 23 to the 0 power is 1. 1 million to the 0 power is 1. 2 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, any number to the 0 power is 1. That was one of our special rules. Okay, number 3 is 7 to the 2nd power. So that's multiplying my base, which is 7 times 7 because my exponent is 2. And that is 49. This next problem asks us to write the number 625 using an exponent and base 5. Okay? You saw these problems written like 625 base 5. Okay? And if you remember, we're trying to find 5 to what power is equal to 625. Okay? And if you don't know this off the top of your head, and most of you won't, we can set up our division houses. Okay? So our division houses, we put 625 underneath the house, and we put 5 on the outside. Okay? The 5 comes from the base, and the 625 comes from the problem. And we know that 5 goes into 625 125 times. So that's one house. Okay? But this number has to be 1, so we need to keep going. So then it's 5 into 125, which is 25. This still needs to be 1, so we got to keep going. 5 goes into 25 5 times. This still isn't 1, so we got to keep going. 5 goes into 5 1 time, and that's what we're looking for. And in order to find the exponent that goes in this box, we count how many times we had to use our division house. So we had to use our division house 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. So 5 to the 4th equals 625. Okay, and you can check your work by doing 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, which is 625. The next one. It says, order the numbers 3 squared, 11 to the 1st power, 2 to the 3rd power, 4, and 8 squared from least to greatest. Okay? So you need to make sure, and it gives you a nice little hint, to solve each exponent first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write 3 squared, 11 to the 1st, 2 to the 3rd, 4, and 8 squared. 3 to the 2nd is 9. 11 to the 1st, that's just 11, because it's just multiplying 11 one time. 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 4 is just 4, and 8 squared is 64. So these are the values, let me get a different color, these are the values that you are going to order from least to greatest, okay? But you can't write these values, you have to write them in exponential form, okay? So I'm going to write 5 lines, 5 lines to help me. I'm going to start with my smallest, which is 4. Okay? My next is 8. But I'm not going to write 8, I'm going to write 2 to the 3rd. My next is 9. But I'm not going to write 9, I'm going to write 3 squared. My next one is 11. But I'm not going to write 11, I'm going to write 11 to the 1st. And finally, my last one is 64, my greatest, but I'm going to write it as 8 squared. So these numbers are from least to greatest. Be careful, you must solve each exponent before putting them in order. Okay, because even though the base might be smaller, the exponent can be bigger, and it will change the order. So be careful. Alright, so we're choosing the most appropriate metric unit for the measurement of a swimming pool full of water. Okay, we talked about 3 different main things that we measure. We measure length, we measure weight, and we measure volume. In this case, we're measuring volume, and that has to do with liters. But in this case, a swimming pool is really, 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 really big. So the most appropriate metric unit is kiloliters. If you remember from class, that's about the size, it compared it to 2 large refrigerators, okay? So it's a lot of refrigerators that could fit in the swimming pool full of water. The next one says, convert the measure 720 meters to decameters. Okay, we haven't worked a lot with decameters, so listen carefully. It says, show all your work and make sure you write the letters. Writing the letters is this. K, H, D, U, D, C, M. King, Henry, something, something, something. Okay? So, we're starting at 720 meters, and we are trying to convert to decameters. Okay? This D is for deca. The small d is for deci. That's just something you're going to have to remember. The big D is deca. Think of deca is bigger, and deci is the lowercase d, and it's smaller. Okay, so we're starting at 720 meters. So my pen has to start right by the meters. And I want to get to decameters, so I have to swoop. Swoop once. My pen would work. Oh, stop it. Swoop once, swoop twice, 3, and 4 times to the left. So I take my original answer. Since it doesn't have a decimal point, I know that there's one right here, because 720 is the 0.0 is the same as 720. It's just easier to write it without the decimal and the 0. Okay, so I start my pen here at the decimal, and I swoop the same amount of times in the same direction. So 4 times to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I make my new decimal point. Okay, but I know I'm a good math student, and I have to put a 0 there because I made an extra loop. And the number's really, really, really small. And I know I need to put a 0 on the outside because I'm a good mathematical student. Okay? I do not need to write these 2 numbers, these 2 zeros right here, because that doesn't change my answer. 0.072 is the same thing as 0.07200. These just are not necessary. Moving on. Number 8. Chris is 1.95 meters tall. His friend Alex is 200 centimeters tall. And his other friend Justin is 1,670 millimeters tall. Who is the tallest boy? Show all of your work and write the letters. So I'm going to write my letters. K, H, D, U, D, C, M. My first step is I want to get everybody into the same unit. Okay, so I'm going to write out what I know. Chris is 1.95 meters. Alex is 200 centimeters. And Justin is 1,670 millimeters tall. Who is the tallest boy? So I'm going to choose to keep meters as my unit. So I need to change centimeters into meters and millimeters into meters. Okay, so I'm going to go up to my letters. And I know that my starting unit for Alex is centimeters. So my pen needs to go underneath the centi. Okay? And I'm converting to meters. Well, meters doesn't have a prefix, so we know that it goes under the U for unit. Okay, so we swoop once and we swoop twice to the left. So I come over here, I know my decimals right here, and I swoop 1, 2 to the left. And I know that my answer is Alex is 2 meters tall. Then I'm going to move on to Justin and switch colors. Justin is 1,670 millimeters tall. So I'm going to start my pen on the M, and I have to get to meters again. This time I'm going to swoop 1, 2, 3 times to the left. So I know my decimals after my number, and I swoop 1, 2, 3 times to the left. And my new answer is 1.67 meters. Now it's easy to tell who's the tallest, because we're all in the same unit. Chris is 1.95 meters, Alex is 2 meters, and Justin is 1.67 meters. So the tallest boy is Alex. Number 9, write the following numbers in scientific notation. Okay, let's look at number 9. We have 645,035,000. Okay, and I know my decimal needs to be where there's only one number to the left of it. So I know that my decimal needs to go between the 6 and the 4, because the number in scientific notation has to be between 1 and 10. Okay, so I write my number as 6.45035. I cannot forget this part. This is still part of the number. 6.45035 is still between 1 and 10. Okay, then I multiply it by 10 to what power? Well, I figure that out by doing my swoops. So I go back to the original decimal and I swoop all the way to the end of the problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swoops to the right. So I know that scientific notation for this problem is 6.45035 times 10 to the 8th.